because of the wickedness ways. You know that's what I like. Just what you did. Do it for me. One more again. Love how you are, baby. Don't change a thing. Go where you are. Miss the kitchen. Wine as you like.
I'm telling you, folks, you're locked into the Mass Breathers Morning Show right here with yours truly, Kenny D. And with me right now, we have none other than the man, Drastic, with us on the show. Hey, Drastic, what's up, bro?
My brother, what go on, man?
There. You know, before we kick off...
Antigua Barbuda, what go on?
Yeah, man. Now, before we kick off anything else, I was hoping that you're staying safe. Of course, we're on a lockdown here in Antigua and Barbuda to try to avoid the spread of the coronavirus, the COVID-19. I'm just hoping that everything is good with you and your family and everything all right. All right? So let's get into the conversation, man.
Yeah, man. Everything.
So how you been passing your time, man, with not being able to go outside like that? What have you been doing? I see you have a home gym there. I see you posting them workout videos, you know. I see you're doing your own little makeshift home gym there. I like it. I like that kind of energy, man. But how you been passing the time? You know, how you been passing the time with this lockdown?
Man, just trying to be creative with the activities, really. So, I mean, for instance, I can't get into the boxing gym and I don't have a heavy bag. So I made one myself. You know, I got one of the laundry bag them and I fill it up with cloth and I hang it on the satellite dish thingy there. And, you know, there was my heavy bag, you know what I mean? And, you know, backyard gardening is, you know, also a form of exercise for me. So, you know, have a dig up with the hoe and the mattock and, you know, plant some vegetables and fruits.
Right.
Say we should be planting fruits and vegetables anyways.
Right.
Because we just don't know what the future really look like. So it's wise to, you know, try and grow some of foods. I'm a heavy gamer, as you may know.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to have a sexy gaming experience at all. Everybody home on the network, hey, I need to come off at the internet and make me get some connection so we can back. Yeah.
No, you recently...
You know, so that's one thing taken out of my life.
Oh, boy. You recently dropped your 15 grams mixtape a couple of months ago. How has things been with regards to that mixtape there? It got very big. You know, I like the way you push it out and the promotion that you did for it. How things been with regards to that mixtape?
The mixtape has been doing pretty good, you know. It's because we have online copies on my website. This is drastic.com for free download for the fans them, and then we had physical copies. So you know we were selling the physical copies, giving out physical copies in the streets. But now we can't do that. That pump us like a bit. So the people in this have to go online, man, and it's been dope. I've been getting a lot of response from it, even up to now. You know, it's 15 tracks of some nice remixes and there's about 3 originals on there. There's a couple other local artists on the mixtape, Shia, Juba. I think that's all I remember for now, man. I think it's just Shia and Juba on the mixtape. Yeah, it's people need to go get it because we dropped a cipher. We dropped a cipher last Friday with the Wadadley Kings, myself, Keys, Jet Ski, Young Louie, and Seba D.
Right.
And a couple of the comments was, yo, I didn't know Drastic rapped. And I was like, I was like, I guess you live under a cave. but no, man, you know, I was like, just go check out the mixtape. You know, yes, Drastic does rap. I love rapping. It's one of my favorite genres. So, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. 15 grams is really about me just getting back to my original self because that is legit what I started off doing before the soca.
Right.
I was rapping and doing dancehall and mainstream music, you know. So after the carnival, I was just like, yo, okay, enough of this. Back to me. Back to what me love do that can impact the world. And, you know, that's what it's about for me right now, global vibes.
Yeah. Now, let's take it back a little further. Of course, you know, I like the fact that you started this part off by saying this is what you originally did. How did you get into music? What was that journey like, getting into music? And that whole vibe of how you got started?
in music.
Yeah.
That's what you asked? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Well, I grew up in the church, eh? So I grew up in the church. I was singing in the church from about 3 years old,
Right.
right? And I learned classical piano with Miss Marian O'Reilly. That's Rhythm Master's mom, for those who
Yes.
don't know.
Yes.
She taught me piano, and then I got airplane keyboard concert style techniques from Newton Charles,
Mm-hmm.
and from there, I learned a little bit of the guitar. It looks like there's a fire over here in the bush. Okay, I see a lot of smoke. From there, I learned the guitar. And, going throughout school, I was always involved in the school choirs. I was in the glee club in St. Joseph Academy. I was one of the lead singers then. And I
Mm-hmm.
got my taste of performing, I would say, folk song slash soca. We had a presentation at the Scotia Bank,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to sing how the song go. When you get up in the morning, don't mind your neighbor business. Get a basin full of water and go wash your booba. So, that, that was my first dose of secular music, you know what I mean? And so I would say the training started from back then, but we never foresaw or foresee that man would actually become an artist, because growing up here in Antigua, we were basically taught, office jobs, banking,
Mm-hmm.
police, fireman, soldier. And when I went to the University of the Virgin Islands over in St. Thomas, they had a couple over there is very heavily influenced by mainstream music.
Right.
So a lot of the big shots of them come over there. Like Jay-Z's from St. Thomas. That's why he say, in my lifetime, nigga, could do your research. St. Thomas, my nigga, that was first. So you have a man like a Jay-Z from over there, and then Akon came over there while I was over there and signed two locals called Rock City. So I
Right.
was like, what? I was like, okay. So it was a different environment from Antigua, and it wasn't about, they weren't really hype over soca and these type of genres over there. Their man was straight up into the rap and hip hop and pop music. And so I got into that. And, we had BET College Hill come to St. Thomas, and they had a
Mm-hmm. I
show
remember.
called Wrap It Up.
I
I
remember
was on
that.
that. And then we had after that there was the VI Idol. I'm gonna skip across all the little talent shows that they had in the school, in the university, that we won. But then they had the VI Idol competition, and that was judged by RCA Records, Atlantic Records.
Mm-hmm.
They had what you name, the Marley, the one that
Kimani.
act in the Shatters,
Kimani. Kimani.
Kimani.
Yeah.
He was a judge. And I think Akon came down for this competition. And these guys gave us perfect scores. We were the only people in the competition to score perfect scores, myself and BV, because we were a duo,
Right.
BV and Drastic,
Them
right? And
Island
and
boys.
BV, them Island boys, and
Yeah.
BV is the one that I would say really and truly made me decide that, yeah, I'm gonna do this as a career, because he's the one that came to me this summer and was just like, yo man, they get this VI Idol competition. We two broke college students. The grand prize is $3,000 plus a record deal. So we just like, we don't have nothing to lose. So we did it.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a twist to Sean Kingston Beautiful Girls.
Mm-hmm.
But I twisted it and said, you could have pretty like diamonds and pearl, and a one girl in the world. No girl can make me suicidal. I would just mash up the place, man. And we got perfect scores, and that was a trend going to the finals. Every round we got 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. And these are man from the industry.
Yeah, yeah.
So from then I don't make up my mind and realize, wow, if I'm impressing these guys from the industry, then I have what it takes to make it.
Yeah.
And so I just kept going. We won the competition, and I just kept going. I never stopped. I never looked back. You know what I mean? Fast forward, came to Antigua in 2010 after graduating and whatnot. And the music over here that was influential was soca.
Right.
And I remember Tian Winter. Tian Winter told me, bro, I know you have two love songs playing on the radio right now that nobody knows you, which was Lay Your Body Down, and there was another song, Getting Paid. But it was straight R&B, and the other one was straight pop, but a lot of people wouldn't know that it was a local.
Right.
And he told me, if you really want that radio play and that notice here locally, you got to do soca music. And so I started to dabble in the soca music, and that gave birth to Sugary Waistline,
Sugary Waistline, yes.
you know.
And you entered the competition the
Yeah,
first year with that song
2010.
as well. You actually entered the Soca
Yeah, I
Monarch with
did.
Sugary Waistline that first year. Let's talk about
I entered the competition with Sugary Waistline.
let's talk about some of the major collaborations you've done, and even your Grammy fame. you did a collaboration, you yourself and BV and yourself, along with Jackie. How did that collaboration get into the making?
That one was pretty organic. Because we were already technically working with Cure. Because Just Bus at the time was had produced on one of the records for him,
Mm-hmm.
and he just hadn't met us yet.
Okay.
And so when he came here with Zugu was like, "Yo, we need a session for Jackie. Hook up the session," and he's like, "Just take care." I was like, "All right, cool." So he dropped Cure off to the studio. He voiced his dubs,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody there swarmy. Everybody was swarming him. It's like starstruck kind of thing, and everybody wanted him to hear their song and da 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 da. So I'm a standoffish guy, and I'm a bit antisocial, and I don't like to come off as a groupie. So I
Right.
was just like, all right, let me let them man do what them they do. And me go outside of the studio, and me roll up on joint, and me tap outside by myself and just cool. And 5 minutes later, Kyo came outside. And he's like, yo, man, the man, them harass me in there, Jano. I just need them break. So I was like, true, and so he's like, who you? And I told him, well, I'm Drastic. It's like, oh, because I'm done hearing my name.
Right.
So we were talking, we reasoned a little bit. And, I explained to him, Just Bus is here and Just Bus produced for you. He's like, wait, the white boy Just Bus? I was like, yeah. I was like, he's on this island. So he's like, yo, man, let's go meet him. We can meet him. I was like, of course. So took him out to the cabin out English Harbor
Mm-hmm.
when I went and link up with Just Bus. On the drive, my CD was in the car. I was playing a bunch of unreleased music.
Right.
And Kiss Me Girl was one of the songs that was playing. And at the time, it wasn't even finished producing. So he heard it and he was like, that's you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, can I get on this song? So at the time, I was a little shocked still because like, Jackie asked me if you can get on a song. I say, okay, cool. But just hit the gas a little harder and increase the speed. And we stayed there in the cabin and we worked on that song until about 4 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We were up, just building, just
Right.
building the tune, man, and we recorded right there in the cabin. We didn't even go to the studio. That song was recorded right there in the living room in the cabin with a Yeti Blue mic. You check. Um, and and we shot the video. I think the next day we planned and started shooting the video. Shout out to Visual Echo.
Right. Right.
And the brass
And that
engineers
was a
in the
crazy
video
video
and
too. And it's so crazy that you got all of
yeah,
that
man, for the time.
all of that put together in that short little time that he was here, because he wasn't really here for that long. But to get a song done, to get a
Well,
video shot.
he had to extend his trip because he he enjoyed it so much here and vibing with me, Logic, Just Bus, and everybody that the man extended his trip for. I think it was a whole 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we had a couple links to some of the hotel and them. So we reached out to the link them and we got him to stay in some of the hotel them. And so, that's how actually the first Grammy nomination came about too. Because he was here for the extra 4 days, we were able to work on a couple songs with him.
Right.
Check. So
And
we,
that's
we were just going in, man.
so
We don't waste time.
so the Grammy nomination came off of the album that he won Best Grammy with. He won Best Reggae Album,
Correct.
and the credits would have been from some of the songs that you worked with
Yeah.
on the album. All right. Now you've also worked with some big
Yeah. The
names.
first album was The Cure.
Yes, yes, yes. What are songs you worked on that? You can remember?
And the second one is Royal Soldiers.
Yes.
Which on The Cure, I did Ain't No Friend of Mine and
Mm-hmm.
Nobody Knows.
Right.
And then on the Royal Soldiers, I am the one that wrote Royal Soldiers.
Okay.
And that became the title track for the album. And I did Brighter Days
Mm-hmm.
and I co-produced Telephone Love.
When you heard about the
It might be
nomination,
some mess, but yeah.
when you heard about the nomination, how did you feel when you heard about that
You
nomination?
can hear the wind in my phone, or you can hear me good.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Okay. I
You
can
can
hear
hear me
the
good or
wind.
the wind overpower.
I can hear you the wind too, but I can hear you as well. So when you heard that the
Okay,
album was
cool.
nominated, what emotions ran through you, man?
Boy, it was I didn't really overreact to it. I just was like, okay, cool, get a Grammy nomination, and I was like, okay, I win me one, win still a check. So
Right.
I didn't really overreact to it. It was just cool. It was just like, ah, cool. I have something else to put in the resume. You know what I mean? And I was like, I guess that would look cool. And then I didn't really make a big deal out of it. My friends make a bigger deal out of it than me.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, for some reason, growing up here in Antigua, I always felt like speaking about your accomplishment, people take it as your boast. So me just kind of just never really talk about them. You check is always the interviewer that would ask me about it. So I would do a whole interview, not mention it, and the person be like, "So I get to lie about a Grammy nomination,"
Well,
because I just
I have to create this platform
that's just what
to
it is.
let people know all the information. So let's move on a little bit here. You've also
Yeah,
worked with some big names in soca as well. As a matter of fact, you had this one of the first songs that you collaborated with a soca artist that I can remember is Bam Bam. You collaborated with Shal Marshall
yeah,
on the Bam Bam remix. How did that
yeah,
happen?
yeah, man. Bam Bam Boy. That was originally produced by Dalton Dyer, and I took the stems and me and Just Bus messed around with it. Myself and Craig Christopher wrote the song, and I think the shall came about because Precision had come down. Casey Phillips
Right,
from Precision Productions came down to do the mix and master,
right.
and he was like, "Yo, I think Shal would love this song," and he sent it to Shal, and Shal didn't even stick 24 hours in. Shal sent back his verse. Check, no vibes, no charge. And then I
Wow.
went down to Trinidad because he invited me to Trinidad. I stayed by him. We shot the video. We did a couple of performances down there. And me and Shah have been brothers since. So that's how that came about pretty much. Real talent, respect and recognized talent. That's one thing I've noticed on my come up. I've never had to pay for collab, bro. It's always something organic. You know
That's
what I
what's
mean?
up.
So that's how
So,
Shal came about. And after Shal, I did Patrice Roberts
yes,
collab with Walk
we walk
2.0.
2.0, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I did, you see that whistle song from Machel? I was involved in the making of that too. Gotta
So,
walk. Let me give me the money move. Yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah, and it makes sense now. It makes sense now.
yeah.
So, were you preparing anything for Antigua Carnival so far before this whole pandemic put anything on lockdown? Was that a vision for the summer?
No, not really. My vision, because after last carnival and what I went through in the competition, I just said, nah, to hell with that. I had enough of that. And like I said, I gone back to the old me where I was just focused on mainstream music because my dream has always been to put Antigua music globally and make it globally so that, we can come back and impact people the real way, help people give back to my community. And the only way for do that is to, make it the real way. And
But
so I really didn't plan to do nothing
I will
per
tell you,
se for
I will tell
carnival.
I will tell you this though, that every time every time you've attempted to do a song for a soca song or a song for Antigua's Carnival, a song for Carnival in general, it's usually a hit. For the Carnival was a definite hit. When you came out with Bam Bam, it was a definite hit. Walk was a definite hit. Sugary Waistline was a definite hit.
Uh,
Decima Road was a
uh,
definite hit. So you've had good track records with hit music
uh,
in soca music, right? So, but at the end of the day, you have to do whatever you love, and that's perfectly fine. All right. You've dabbled
yeah,
in so
man.
many different
And then you
genres.
see, you see the thing with you see the thing with carnival. I never plan like I'm not an artist. I really think like, okay, I'm gonna do this song for carnival because I need to do this. Like me, I make music all the time,
Right.
so I always have something that can fit in. You check for the season. So like for instance, I already drop Right on the Money,
Right.
which is and my approach. So I'm not saying I stop so completely, but my approach is still very mainstream. So I drop Right on the Money, which is more. I always did crossover, right? Come to think of it, so I did Right on the Money, which is more kind of Afrobeat, soca, and then I
Right.
did Fling It Back, produced by DJ Elements,
Yes.
and the Fling It Back have a more UK type scene, but
Yes.
it can work for Carnival. A lot of people are gonna categorize it as soca, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I would say I already made my contribution for
You
2020
you, you were
Carnival.
you were
Hopefully we do have it in December so the people then can go enjoy themselves.
You were back in the Virgin Islands a couple years ago. I think the hurricane passed. You know, sort of kind of relocated you back here in Antigua. But you had some success
Yeah,
in the Virgin Islands in soca music as well when you were there for that time period. Tell us about that.
yeah, yeah. I did. They had invited me to do the regional soca monarch that they had over there, which I took part in. The first time I did it, I placed second, and then the second time I did it, I came first. With Oye actually.
Yeah. Oh, it's a
Yeah,
great song though.
with Oye, and then yeah, Oye is nice, man. It's like a cross between dancehall and soca.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and shout out to Drew, shout out to Ricardo Drew. He's
Mm-hmm.
the one that actually gave me the title for the song because as in when I sent him the song, I don't remember what name I had at the time, but he was like, "Yo, you should just call it Oye." Oh, I remember. He gave me the spelling because I had Ohyeah, and he's like, "Yo, make it that Spanish word Oye." And I was like, "Okay, what does Oye mean?" And I looked it up, and he's like, "It meant listen up." So I was just like, oh, "Okay, cool." And we went with Oye.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
spelling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All
And we
right.
did a music video for that too, that
Mm-hmm.
we haven't even been able to put out. Like,
Wow.
but in due time, music doesn't get old, and the rest of the world still has to discover it.
Yeah.
I kind
Definitely.
of feel as local artists, we always feel pressured to drop a music video now, and if we don't drop it during this season, that is done because of this culture of each year you need to drop a new soca song with it. Whereas in the real music world, people be pushing one song, one single for 7 years. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So yeah, I never really bought into that whole concept of if you don't drop it now, then don't do it. So I still have a music video coming up for all your people.
All
Look
right.
out for me.
So what's next for you, man? What's next on the agenda for Drastic?
Say that again.
So what's next on the agenda for you? What's the
Well, right now, today I actually just dropped a I just dropped a new video on my IGTV,
Mm-hmm.
the box by Roddy Rich, my acoustic cover twist to it.
Okay.
So y'all can go check that out. It's also on my website for a free download. This is drastic.com.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can just go straight to the free section. This is drastic.com/free.
Mm-hmm.
And most recently, of course, my last single is Show Up. And that's what we're pushing right now. That's the main deal. That's the big deal right now. My single Show Up featuring Wyclef John out of Haiti
Mm-hmm.
and Noah Power by way of Jamaica/New York.
That's a
We
good
actually
look.
working on a little quarantine. We call it a quarantine music video
Mm-hmm.
because they were supposed to come down last month and film the video, but everybody get put on lockdown.
Right.
So when we get through this, we're gonna get back to making the music video. But for now, in between time, we were forced to be creative
Mm-hmm.
and kind of create a quarantine style music video. And YouTube actually is not accepting music videos that promote anything outdoor and clubbing and all that stuff.
Right.
So in this time, yeah, for those who don't know, so in this time, they only want people to be doing music videos that promote and encourage people to stay at home because everybody's trying to. It's a worldwide pandemic, and we're all trying to
Mm-hmm.
get
Mm-hmm.
past it. So we have to do our part as creatives, as entertainers, to basically get that message out. So we're doing that with Show Up. So the campaign around Show Up has literally been stay at home, stay inside, and show up from home. So we have the Show Up challenge,
Mm-hmm.
which we're rolling out shortly as well, where we're gonna give the winner of the Show Up challenge $1,000 US.
Wow.
So people could look out for that. Yeah, yeah. Mainly for the ladies. Mainly for the ladies. The song is actually about women and
Mm-hmm.
uplifting women and about independent women and that's on their grind and that type of stuff. So
Okay.
it's mainly for the women. I don't know if any guys are gonna try it and do the Show Up challenge. I'm not against it because fellas can show up too, right?
True. So is there anything out there you want to let your fans know before you get out of here? Any message to your followers
I
or
didn't hear
anything?
that.
Is there anything you want to let your fans know before we make our exit? Any messages to your followers or anything like that?
Man, I mean, well, thank you first of all for giving me this interview and the platform that you continue to give to us local artists. And as far as my fans, them love y'all to death. I have the best fans in the world. Drastic say so. So and just keep yourself safe. Wash your hand. Bathe the skin. Stay at home. Don't be out on the beach doing no partying. When everybody miss the beach, I miss the beach too. But we have to obey the laws of the government so we can get past this. The quicker we obey the law and do the social distancing, the quicker we can get back to our normal routine in life, people. So
Yeah, the
just
quicker we
hold the
can,
faith, stay prayed up.
the quicker we can get back to Sunday basketball.
Yo, oh man, I miss ball so much, bro. Hey, trust me, man. Like I miss it.
Hey man,
I miss. Like me, an antisocial person, and me can tell you straight up, me miss socializing. We want to see people.
yeah
You
man,
know me, and I
definitely.
want to get back to getting on these shows and performing for the people, man. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I just want to say a big shout out to my fans, man, and keep supporting. Download the music. The show up is on all platforms: iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. I want my Antiguan and Barbudan people to go stream Show Up on Apple Music so that Show Up can show up number one on the Antigua charts because we're already number one on a couple other charts, and we've already passed like I've my Spotify plays is crazy right now, and in 1 week, you know what I mean. But the majority of the plays are coming from Germany, Canada, and the UK. But we need my Antiguan people and for turn up the plays them too, because we want to see that it's coming from Antigua too. We check so people go Apple Music, stream it, iTunes,
All
go get
right.
it. All she have to do was just show up, take a pic, watch the Instagram blow up. She and her crew get hype, turn up the club all night. Them other girl pay if you getting she get paid just to show up. Collect the check, watch the Instagram blow up. Ah na 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 na. All she have to do is just show up. So happen. Kenny D,
Drastic,
you done the big up, you know?
yeah, man, big up yourself, Drastic. Thank you once again for talking with me, man. It's always a pleasure, and I'm looking forward for some more things from you in the future. All right.
All right, bro. Done
All
now.
right.
We
All
link.
right. Boom. All right, so people, that was the man there, Drastic.
We just here for the fun, gonna drink some rum, gonna party all night long. When I wake up in the morning, I give thanks.